Hey Gary, hey Tiffany, here we go with your daily routine. I'm going to be doing the instructions and John's going to be doing the stretching. So let's start with a stretch for the back of your shoulders and into your scapula. Your palms are pressing together while you draw your elbows together. Your arms are at a right angle, forehead or higher, palms pressing together while you draw your elbows together. That's 2 reps. We're going to do 6. 3, 4, I lied, we're going to do 8. 5, palms pressing together, elbows drawing together. 6, 2 more. Palms pressing together, elbows together for 7, last one, and 8. Shake that out, relax your shoulders. And now let's go into a stretch for the top of the deltoids. We're going to do 6 reps on each side. So your right arm is at a right angle, pressing toward the back of your body. Your left hand cupped around your elbow joint, rotate your right elbow to center. That's 2 reps we've done. 3, 4, the arm is rotating in the shoulder joint. 5, and you can feel this stretch on the top of your shoulder. 1 more. 6. Awesome, shake that out and let's do the other side. This time your left arm's going to be at a right angle, pushing towards the back of your body. Your right hand cupped around your elbow joint is going to bring your left arm to center for a stretch in the shoulder. That's 1, 2, resisting as you rotate in the shoulder joint. 3, your shoulders basically stay square. The movement's happening in the joint. 4, 2 more of these. Let's bring the legs in. 5, activate those legs for this last one. And 6. Excellent job. Shake that off. Both stretches are great for those computer tense neck and shoulders. Okay, now we're going to go to the pecs at the wall. 3 stretches for each level. So we're going to start with our arms high, like at around 1 o'clock. John's right arm, he's pressing into the wall and down at an angle towards the front of his body. He continues to do that while he opens his shoulder up. Wonderful. So now he closes that left shoulder again, presses his right hand into the wall and at an angle towards the front of his body, continues to do that as he opens his shoulder up. That's the 2nd rep at this 1 o'clock position. 1 more of these. 2 more. Sorry, 4 of each type. Pressing your hand into the wall and down at an angle towards the front of your body. Use your legs to pivot as you open your shoulder up. Last one. Hands pressing in and down at an angle, shoulders closed, and you pivot it open using your legs to stretch out your pec on the right side, your chest. Okay, so after those 4 reps, he's going to move his arm down to at about 3 o'clock. This time he's pressing his hand into the wall and straight across the front of his body. He continues to do that while he opens his shoulder, pivoting with his legs. So his body's facing the wall. He's pressing his right hand into the wall and across the front of his body towards the front. Continues to do that while he pivots to open his shoulder for the stretch. 2 more. Pressing his hand in, pivoting with his legs, he opens that right pec. 1 more of these at the 3 o'clock position, pressing that right hand into the wall, continuing to do that while he opens his left shoulder to stretch out that pec. Really good job. That's 4 reps at that height. Now we're going to do the other side. His hands at about 5:30, 5 o'clock range. This time he's pressing his hand, his fingers are pointing down, and he's pressing his hand into the wall and up towards 11 o'clock. He's going to continue to do that while he opens his shoulder. We're going to do 4 reps of these. So for all of these stretches, his arm's going in and towards the front of his body, just at different angles. So at this 5:30 position, he's pressing his hand in and up towards towards about 11 o'clock. Continues to do that while he opens his shoulder. 2 more of these. Hands pressing in and up towards 11 o'clock, resisting himself while he uses his legs to pivot his left shoulder open for a stretch in the right chest. 1 more of these. Pressing his hand in and up at an angle, continues to do that, really uses those legs to pivot that chest open. Great job. Now we're going to switch sides. Shake it off for a second or two. Shake those arms off. Whoa. Whoa, he's looking good. Okay, let's do the other side. Hand starts at about 11 o'clock. So his left hand is at 11 o'clock, body is still facing the wall, pressing his hand in and down towards 5 o'clock while he uses his legs to pivot his shoulder open for 1 rep. Awesome. Go back to the start position, closed shoulder, pressing his left hand into the wall and down towards 5 o'clock while he opens his right shoulder, using his legs to pivot him. Let's do 2 more of these. Relax, let it go, back to the start position, hands pressing into the wall and down at an angle towards 5 o'clock, and he uses his legs to pivot that right shoulder open to stretch out the left pec. Let's do 1 more at this height, hands pressing in, down at an angle, using his legs to pivot open. Really good. You can see he's going nice and slow to stretch out that tissue. Okay, let's go to the 9 o'clock range. Hands pressing straight into the wall and across towards 3 o'clock. Closes his right shoulder, activates his pec, and continues to resist and tense by pressing that hand in and across while he opens his shoulder. Now he's going to go ahead and relax, go back to the start position. 3 more of these. That's 1. Let's do 2 more. Pressing his hand in and across. He's telling me he's getting a better start position, so he's able to close his shoulder in more and more each time. Starting shorter. Last one. You see he can close in tighter there. Presses his hand in, contracts from that shortened position, continues to do that while he opens the shoulder up for a stretch in the left pec. Okay, now he's going to go down to like the 7 o'clock range. Fingers pointing down, hands pressing into the wall at 7 o'clock. It's going to press down and up towards 1, 2 o'clock in that area. He's going to continue to do that while he opens that right shoulder for the stretch. That's 1. Again, hands pressing in and up towards 1, 2 o'clock. Let's say 1:30. He keeps doing that while he opens his chest, pivoting with his legs. He's really using his legs. All right, let's do 2 more. Last 2 of these to get that chest open. Pressing your hand in and up at an angle. Continue to do that while you open the chest. We're a third done, almost, with this whole video. Pressing your hand up and at an angle. Keep doing that while you open your chest. Excellent job. Okay, let's keep this moving. We got a lot to do. Let's shake it out, shake it out. Now John's going to lie down on his back, and we're going to do a stretch for the quads. We're at about 9 minutes in here. So he's got his hands interlaced behind his left knee. He's going to take his right ankle, crisscross it on top of his shin. His right leg is going to drive up towards the ceiling, and he's going to use his left ankle to fold him at the knee for a stretch in the quad. We're going to do 6 reps of these. That was 1. Again, 2. Left leg is driving up, right ankle is folding him at the knee for a stretch in the quad. 3. 3 more. Let's pick up the pace a little. 4. You got this. Relax when you go to the start position. 5. Last one. Driving that left leg up and using your right ankle to fold him at the knee. Excellent. Shake that out. Shake that out, and let's do the other leg. Raising his right leg in the air, left ankle crisscrossed on top of his shin, right leg driving up while his left ankle folds him at the knee. That's 1 rep. You should feel this burn in the front of your thigh. 2 reps. Great for runners, Tiffany. 3 reps. Let's do 3 more. Driving that right leg up in the air, left leg's folding him at the knee. 2 more. Sorry, maybe 1 more, John? 1 more after this. Excellent. Really good. Okay, now he's going to do knee to forehead for his IT band. We're going to do 6 reps of each. Crisscrossing his left ankle on top of his right knee, hands interlaced behind his right knee. Both feet are flexed and bent. He's driving his left ankle into his right knee and using his arms to draw both legs up into his body. That's 1 rep. There's 2. So the start position is with straightened out arms. Resist and bend your arms while you draw your legs up.
This is 4.
That was 4.
This
one was 4. Sorry about that. We got 2 more reps of these. 5. 1 more. And 6. You should feel this in the glute on the left leg. And then shake it out a second. Shaking it out, shaking it out. John's looking pretty tired here. Let's crisscross. So now we got his right leg on top of his left knee, hands interlaced behind his left knee, driving his right ankle into his left knee and using his arms to draw both legs up for a stretch in the right glute. That was 2 reps. Arms start straight, resist, arms fold as the legs come into the body. There's number 4. 5, last one of these. Really press that right ankle into the left knee. And 6. Excellent. He does that one pretty well. Okay, last stretch on your backs. Notice how he's got a nice bolster behind his head. You can use a pillow or whatever you want. Roll up a yoga mat. We're going to do a hamstring stretch. Taking his left leg, hands interlaced behind his knee, leg is straight up in a neutral position. He's going to kind of bring his body up a bit, kick that leg down to the ground, and use his arms, fold his arms again to draw his leg up into his chest. Driving that leg to the ground, use his arms to bring his leg up into his chest. Try and create a stable pelvis so that the leg just moves in the hip joint and you don't take the stretch in the joint. That was 4 reps. Let's do 2 more. Driving that leg down to the ground, come through the heel. Use your hands to draw your leg up into your chest. 1 more of these. Driving your leg down to the ground, use your hands to bring your leg up into your chest. And go ahead and shake that one out. Now let's do the other side. Hands interlaced behind the right knee. Fix your ring. Oh my gosh, she's not wearing one. Drive that leg down to the floor and use your arms. Fold those arms as you bring your leg up into the chest. Remember, stable pelvis so that the stretch just happens in the joint. That's where the movement's happening. That's 3 reps. Let's do 3 more of these. 4. You might not have as much range as John. That's okay. 2 more. That's 5. 1 more. Driving that leg down, come down through the heel and draw your leg up. Excellent. Shake that off. Okay, we're closing in on the halfway mark. Let's come up to a lunge position and we're going to do both a stretch for the hip flexors and also, I think you should face us straight on. No, that works. A stretch for the hip flexors and also for the hamstrings. So we're going to start with the hip flexors. We're stretching John's left hip flexor. He's going to sit his pelvis back, drive his left shin and foot down and his left knee forward. Continue to do that while he uses his right leg to propel his hips forward. Then he lets it go. That's 1 rep. Drives the shin down, the knee forward, and then he comes forward. We're going to do 3 of these and then switch to a hamstring lunge. That's the 3rd rep. Go ahead and relax that. Now he's going to do a hamstring lunge on the opposite leg. So he puts his left hand down, horse kicks his left heel his right heel back to engage his hamstring, and then lengthens back for the stretch. That was 1 rep. Give us a second here, John. That was 2. He's going to go back to the start position, horse kick that heel back, the opposite knee drives forward. He maintains the resistance while he gets the stretch on that right hamstring. Okay, really good job. Now 3 reps on the left hip flexor. Driving the left knee forward, continues to do that while he propels his hips forward. Driving the left knee forward, continues to do that. Sits back, drives the left knee forward to contract the left hip flexor, and drives his pelvis forward. Now 3 reps on the central hamstring on the opposite side. Horse kicking his right heel back to contract the hamstring and lengthens for the stretch. Again, horse kicking back and lengthens for the stretch. Last one, horse kicking back to contract the hamstring and lengthening for the stretch. Okay, so that was 2 sets of hip flexors and hamstrings. 2 hamstrings on the right and 2 hip flexors on the left. Now we're going to reverse it. So he's going to start with a hip flexor stretch on his right leg. So he switched to the lunge position, sits his pelvis back, drives his right knee forward, and lunges forward. Goes back to the start position. Drives his foot down, drives his right knee forward, and propels his pelvis forward. Again, drives his shin, his foot down on the right side, his right knee forward, and propels his pelvis forward against that force. Now he's going to get into a lunge, lunges forward, horse kicks the left heel back, and sits his pelvis back for a stretch in the central hamstring. Horse kicks his left heel back, feels his hamstring contract, maintains the contraction while he sits back. Last one, horse kicks and sits back. Excellent. Now we're going to go back to another set of hip flexors on the right, pressing the shin and foot down, the knee forward, and driving the pelvis forward against that. Shin and knee down and forward. Continue to do that while he drives the pelvis forward. 1 more. That was 2. Let's do 3. 1 more. Really good job. Now last set of these, or last round or section. Hamstring on the left side. Horse kicks his heel back and sits back. Again, horse kicks his heel back and sits back. Last one, horse kicks that heel back, hamstring contracts, he sits back to lengthen. Really good job. Okay, now we're going to do a standing bladder stretch, or a stretch for the lateral hamstring. And John's going to actually put his hands on the bolster. You don't have to do this, they can go right on the ground, but if you've got something to rest your hands on, go ahead. He's stretching his left lateral hamstring. The weight's coming down through the ball of his left foot. There's a slight bend. He's going to raise and internally rotate in the hip joint his right leg for 1 rep. Bring it back down, raise it again. That's 2 reps. We're going to do 6 of these. He brings his foot all the way to the ground and he lifts it, keeping an internal rotation. 3 more. You'll feel the stretch on the back outside of the down leg. That's 2. 2 more to go. 1 and 1 more. 2. Really good job. Now let's switch sides. Shaking that out. Now he's going to do his right lateral hamstring. So he starts with his left foot next to his right, and he raises and internally rotates at the hip joint that left leg to stretch the right lateral hamstring. Weight's coming down through the ball of the right foot. Really good job. We got 4 more to go. Relax when you come back to the start position. Just bring that foot back down. That was 3. 3 more. Raising. We're not trying to get the leg high. That's 4. 2 more of these. 5. Really good job. Bring your foot down. 1 more. And 6. Excellent job. Okay, so that concludes the self-stretch portion. Now we're going to go into some assisted poses. Okay, so I'm going to come on over and join John, and here I come. All right, so we're going to start with a standing bladder assisted. So I'll start on John. He's going to get back in that same position. He's lifting his left leg, and I'm going to face the inside of his leg. I've got my left hand under the top of his ankle, my right hand under the top of his thigh, and he's going to kick that leg down, and I'm going to slow him down and then let him finish the movement. And he's getting a stretch on his right lateral hamstring. Then we come back to the start position. I slow him down, especially in the first couple inches, and then I let off the gas or the brakes and then bring him back down. You can see he's trying to overcome my force. That was 3. We're going to do 3 more of these, 6 reps. I've got my hand gently resting on his thigh and the top of his ankle. 2 more of these. So I'm slowing him down while he finishes the movement, and he can really feel that on that right leg. Last one. Awesome effort. Really good. Okay, now he's going to come on to the other side, and I'm going to do the other leg. So move the bolster over here. Apologies for the wire. We have some technical challenges here. Okay, so his hand's going to rest on the bolster, and this time I've got my right hand is under his right ankle, and my left hand is under his right thigh. I'm in a stable position. He drives down, I slow him down, and then we finish the movement for 1 rep. And 2 reps. You can see I'm facing the inside of his legs, and I've got a nice athletic stance in my legs so that I feel strong. 3 reps, 3 more. Slowing him down, especially in the beginning. 4, 2 more. He's getting a great stretch on his left lateral hamstring. Last one. Really good job. Awesome. Now he's going to shake that out a second, and I'm going to go. So you guys switch partners. Okay, so he's going to start by stretching my left lateral hamstring. So I'm going to raise my right leg into the air. He's facing in, just like I did. He's got one hand under my ankle, the other under my thigh. I drive my leg down, and he slows me down. That's 1. Let's do 5 more. 2. The weight's really coming down through the ball of my left foot, and I've got a bend in my left leg. 3. I'm also going to extend my pelvis back a little. 4. 2 more. 5. And 6. Really good. Okay, let's switch sides. So now we're going to do my right lateral hamstring. So I'm going to raise my left leg. I've got a slight bend in my right leg, and you can see John's doing a really cool thing I didn't do. He's putting his toes behind my right heel, so I have something to drive back into. You can do that little trick. That's really helpful. So he's going to slow me down while I bring that left leg down, and you can see I'm internally rotating. Slow me down while I bring that left leg down. You can see I'm really working. He's probably resisting me the first 2 inches at like 70%, and then he really pulls back. Lets me finish the movement with ease. That's 3. Let's do 3 more. 4. And 5. Oh, I was supposed to do 6. Sorry. Last one. 6. Really good. All right, now we're going to go into beach pose. So let me just make sure that this is going to work okay. Yeah. So we're going to start with John working on me. And I'm going to lie down on the ground. My legs are bent. My hands are behind my head. And he's going to do 2 reps in each direction. So I start with my arms out, my elbows pressing down. His hands are on the outsides of my elbow joint, and he's palming them and rotating me in. And then I relax, go back to the start position, resist, and he palms my elbow joints and rotates me in for a stretch in the outside of my arms and into my shoulders. Now we're going to do 2 squeezing in. I squeeze my elbows together. He moves his hands to the inside, and he opens me up for a stretch in my chest. For this direction, it's really important that you sink your ribs down into your body. Don't let them pop up. Sink them down. Squeezing my elbows together, he's opening me up. That's 2. Let's go 2 the other way. Pressing my elbows down, drawing my ribs in, continuing to do that while he brings my elbows up. And if I give him too much force, he can just tell me to back off a little. 1 more, ribs in, elbows down, palming my joints. John rotates my elbows together. Now let's squeeze in. Last 1, last 2, squeezing my elbows together, ribs in my body. He's opening me up. 1 more of these, squeezing my elbows in. And he opens me up. Great. So now let's switch. So you guys switch, and we're going to switch. So for you, Tiffany, I'm hoping that you went first and now Gary's going to go. I'm going to encourage you to be in a lunge position so that you can really use your legs. Okay? So John's elbows are going out to the side. My hands are cupping his elbow joints, and I'm going to rotate him in. That's 1 for the back of the shoulders. 2. Okay, now we're going to switch directions. He's going to squeeze his elbows together. I'm going to switch my hands to the inside and open him up for 1. Now let's let him squeeze wherever he can comfortably get his elbows together. And 2. Now let's go back to the outside. I just rotate my hands around. He drives his elbows down, sinks his ribs into his body, continues to do that while I draw his elbows up. 1. Really use your palms so that it feels good to him. 2. Now let's last 2. He's squeezing his elbows together, and I am opening him up. He can give me a little more force because you can see I can just let my body weight draw down to open him. But I'm not trying to take him far. I'm only trying to go so long as he can resist. You always want to keep track of the joint. The further you go, the more you get into the joint, and that's when it can become unsafe. Okay, really good job. Last stretch, heart pose. So let's start with John, and I will assist him. So he's going to get down on the ground, kind of in like a bear crawl, bent knees, hands are down. Okay, and I'm going to put my hands on his back wherever I see kind of a little bit of a hump or compensation. So he's going to draw his hands back and press his body forward. We're going to do 4 of these. He's going to draw his hands back. I'm really leaning into him because he's giving me a lot of force while he presses forward. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. I'm pushing into him. He's drawing his hands back, and I am resisting him to the best of my ability. 1 more. Pressing into him while he draws forward. Okay, last time. Let's switch. And yeah, just be right here. So now it's my turn. Why don't you do the talking so that I can be in this? Little switch. Finally get to this down.
Okay, Sita's going to be down. She's going to bend her knees. It's a comfortable stance. And I see that this part of her back is kind of pushing up, so I'm going to put my hands there. You can do this against the wall. She's pulling her hands forward, and I'm giving her some pressure. Is that good enough? Is that too much?
Give me more.
I can give you more, okay. So she's driving her hands back towards her feet, and it's pulling her forward, and
I'm looking up.
And she's looking with her head up. That brings her head up. She's got 1 more here to go. It's really good. I'm really holding the part of her back that's substituting, and that's really helpful.
Let's do 1 more.
We're going to do 1 more. Cool. All right, and that was a
really good job, you guys. So that should be just over 30 minutes or so. And give that a try. Let us know how it goes, and we can go from there. Okay?
Good luck, guys.
Good luck.